hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
How are you? What are you doing? What are you
Where are
wearing?
you right now?
Are you cozy?
What are you thinking about this moment? Tell us your deepest, darkest secrets.
We'll do that one on an episode someday, maybe.
Deepest fears?
Deepest fears.
Okay. Ooh, okay. That sounds fun.
Or like confessions. Like Caitlin Bristow does a confessions segment on her Off the Vine every episode. It's very short. And they're usually like pretty light. Like I listened to one today that Becca Kufrin revealed that she Peter Pants a little bit as a 30-year-old woman.
Who has not done that?
Yeah, I was like, I've done much more than that as an adult.
That's not a confession.
Anyway, hello everyone. This is Kara.
Hi. And this is Beth. Welcome back to
We're back.
The Cabbage Batch, a Bachelor podcast.
Another week. A Bachelor podcast. Thank you for coming back.
Yes.
We love you. We are again recording remotely this week. And, last week went fine.
Yeah, except I did, my internet went out. And one time my thing stopped recording. But luckily, both times
we were vigilant.
Yeah.
And we overcame.
Yeah, we persevered. And shout out to Kara for editing it all together because I literally don't understand how it works.
It was funny because I was nervous about editing, so I called Cam into the room, but he literally did nothing except for serve as emotional support while I was editing.
You just needed his presence and his being.
Presence.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of things where I just call him into the room and he doesn't do anything, but I'm nervous, so I want him there. Oh my gosh.
That's
it's not dependency,
support.
I promise.
No, that's just good support. It's kind of like an emotional support dog. Like most of the time, it's not doing anything except being there. And that's the value of it.
That's true. But I do think that, as we get more comfortable with recording remotely, it'll serve us well because with the holidays coming up, Beth, I can't 100% confirm this, but I heard that there's going to have to be some weeks where they do double episodes of The Bachelorette in order to fit it in time for Matt James's season to start on January 4th.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, that kind of makes sense because this is episode 8, but this is really only episode 3 or 4 of Tayshia.
Yeah, and they didn't have a rose ceremony tonight, so...
Yeah, it's going kind of slow. But she has, like, how many guys? 15? 16?
12 guys left?
Oh.
But that, I mean...
I was off.
That's at least 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
At least. So, we might have to double up one week, and I know that, we'll be kind of in our respective bubbles for the holidays. So
right. So this is
that
good
we're getting used to it now.
Yeah, we're building this skill while we... I don't know. So, yeah, agreed. Yeah. That's all.
Yes. So we're here. We are here. Another great episode. I told Beth before we started recording, this was the first week that felt like a normal Bachelorette episode.
Yeah,
and I don't mean that in a bad way. I didn't feel like I was on a roller coaster, but I was still enjoying it. It was a nice like carousel ride or Ferris wheel ride.
Ooh, foreshadowing. Ooh. Yeah, no, I felt that way too. It was like, okay, there's nothing crazy that's gonna happen, but there's like still drama, still stuff I was excited to watch play out on screen, and still some good real conversations and connections. So it had a little bit of everything, and it's like, but it's also simmering down because before we know it, we're going to be real. Before we know it, we're going to be at like Final Four and fantasy suites and all that. So
I'm excited for Final Four. That's when I get really super engaged. Yeah,
that's where it becomes real and your heart becomes invested in a way that is slightly shocking.
Even the week before when people are really thinking about it and wanting to be there. And I know hometowns is going to be different this year. But I feel like they're going to do some sort of aspect of meeting the fam.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed.
But before we dive into the episode, I do have a couple of points for Bachelor Nation news. I really had to dig into my brain to think what happened this week. There were some little things. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the whole blur of like Thanksgiving and stuff. It wasn't really a normal week. So it's like, where did last week end and this week begin?
Where did this one begin?
Is time? Oh. The passage of time.
Heavy breathing. But a few things did happen. There's some little itty bitty things that happened that I don't think are worth getting into. But what I will note, number one, Crystal Nielsen, Coach Crystal, did a sex reveal for her bun in the oven, which is referred to as Glitter Baby. Glitter Baby does have an Instagram account. I believe last time I checked it. Yeah.
Isn't this what we talked about last week? How we just don't approve of people making, especially their unborn babies, Instagrams?
Yeah, but she has a sex now. So now we know it's a girl.
Woo.
So
congratulations.
I'm not going to get into the whole gender reveal, sex reveal.
Yeah, let's not.
Soapbox, but it happened. It happened.
Yeah.
The end.
It's news.
It's news. This is not a spoiler. I'm letting you know ahead of time, but so there's no spoilers on this podcast. But what I will report is that possible spoilers for Matt James' season have already started to leak.
No way. From Reality Steve?
I'm assuming so. I honestly haven't been taking a deep dive because I'm trying to really, really, really stay away from it.
Right.
But what I will say that I noticed from a Reddit thread is that someone snooped on Matt James's mom's Instagram and found out that she had followed a contestant from his season.
Do you know which one? I mean, don't say.
No, I don't know which one.
Okay, good.
All I know is that she followed someone.
Wow. Yeah, people, that's the thing, like, Bachelor Nation is too smart for you. Like, they're one step ahead. They've got I
also think Matt James's mom should have known. Or maybe she just doesn't understand the power.
Moms don't know about that stuff. Like, I'm not saying it because moms are like, oh, they're old or whatever, but they just did not really grow up in that, and they don't understand the power of, like, even some people don't know that you can see who they follow. Like,
that's true.
As if you go on
I've heard so many tales of people thinking, I thought they couldn't see that.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah, so I'm honestly not surprised.
I think that the franchise, I'm pitching this now. ABC, I will organize this for you. I'm really organized. ABC needs to organize a crash course for Bachelor leads' immediate families.
Yes.
Immediate family members.
Smart.
Simple do's and don'ts. You don't need to put your life on pause, but these are the things you need to not do during this time.
I mean, just to be safe, like, don't like anything. Like, don't
like things. Don't
only share stuff only share stuff that like, your son or daughter, whoever's the bachelor or bachelorette, like, only share stuff that they share, or only share stuff that the bachelor, like, approved accounts share, and you're good. Like, that's basically what I would say.
Going through that crash course could also set them up for a really successful social media career, being like, wouldn't you like to know what I know?
Yeah, capitalize.
Yeah. So that happened. I don't know anything else. I just know that spoilers are starting to be leaked. I was really off on the timeline. Matt James filming has already wrapped.
Oh, so I didn't even notice that. I don't even have any concept of what's happening.
But apparently we're not going to really have any break between this season and next season. So buckle up, everyone.
Baby. I'm ready.
I know. And then if we have another Bachelorette right after that, and then Paradise, it's like 9 months solid of.
Well, we had to go so long without it. This is what we deserve. This is what we need. It's what we deserve.
This plentiful bounty.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, ABC gods, Bachelor gods.
My last piece of information is that Lauren Zima, who I think is an absolute queen, I do adore her, but she had a little misstep this past week.
Oh, What did she do?
So she's been working on a podcast apparently for a while. Because when you're famous, like
you make a podcast.
You work on a podcast, you spend a lot of time beforehand on it. Unlike us, who spent like a month before.
Zero time, like actually zero.
She has like a team of people behind this, but she came out and said that she starting a podcast called Relationships with Lauren Zima. Now, here's the misstep. This podcast title already exists to a black podcaster named Claire D.
Oh.
And so all of Claire D's fans went to Lauren Zima's listing on Apple Podcast, and there's over 1,000 one-star reviews on Lauren Zima's Relationships podcast. Now, since all that has happened, Lauren Zima has changed the name of her podcast to Relating with Lauren Zima, but she has not publicly addressed comments made about her taking the podcast title or made any comments about the situation. Here's what I think about this. I really do think that you should not copy someone else's podcast title. Whenever we were thinking of podcasts, I saw a lot of really cool podcast titles out there that I was like, dang, that's a good one. But you don't copy them. I feel like that's just a courtesy.
Sure.
So,
well, it's also the law. Speaking as an intellectual property paralegal here.
Gosh. Copyright.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Trademark, but yeah.
The other thing is, like, I know a relationship podcast isn't necessarily... She didn't steal the idea. A relationship podcast, there's thousands of them. It's just the title. So...
And yeah, but that's the thing is, if you're any business owner or, you know, getting into any field, you should always look and make sure that what you're going to use isn't already being used, not just for legal purposes, but also because of stuff like this. So I'm honestly surprised that they weren't aware of this. Like, you would think they would have done research.
I honestly think they were aware, and they just thought... I think they just thought that the power of Lauren Zima would overcome that. But
yeah, that's
this podcast
if that's the case, that's a blunder.
Yeah, I mean, and this other podcast already has a following and loyal supporters, and they let that be known. So, I mean, Lauren Zima is going to come back from this. She has that kind of following. Sure. I just think that this was a little bit of a misstep. And I don't necessarily think Lauren Zima is 100% to blame for this, because obviously she has producers and other things behind this that are supposed to be, you know, doing a lot of this work for her. Her work is just to create the content of the episodes.
Yeah,
anyways,
and I think
I still like her, though.
On a personal level, I always feel bad for people when things like this happens. Not to excuse their behavior, but like, especially people who I believe have good intentions in their heart. I feel bad because I'm like, this is probably causing you a lot of personal stress, and like, you messed up, and that sucks for you. And that probably really sucks to deal with. I mean, it sucks for the other person.
Also, it was her birthday this week.
Oh, I saw that too. Yikes.
So, I mean, I don't really have like a firm stance on all of this. I just know that she just check your podcast title, folks.
Yeah, it's the first thing that you should do.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what I have for Bachelor Nation news this week.
Nice. What about Kara Nation news? What's going on in you? What's going on with you?
Guys, the library world is wild right now. I am preparing all these things for the holidays. Me and my coworkers, we made this awesome ugly sweater video. Go check it out. Sequoia Regional Library on Facebook or on Instagram. Cam and I produced this song. It's to the tune of Deck the Hall, so it's not original. Gosh. But the lyrics are different. And you can hear, I'm not going to say that it's that I'm a good singer, because that's not what it's supposed to represent. But I do a pretty good opera impersonation.
Wow.
And there is an opera track in the mix.
I need to listen to this. This is definitely news. I'm glad that you told me about this.
It's only 1 minute and 40 seconds. Everyone has that. Or 2 minutes and 10 seconds, sorry. You can do that. Everyone
for sure.
Go find it. Maybe we'll share a clip on the Insta stories so you can get a peek of my life.
Sure.
But yeah, we're ramping up for the holidays at the library. Lots of things are happening. So I told you before we recorded, I said the next 10 days or so, I'm honestly probably going to say till New Year's Eve, my library life is going to be wild.
That's extreme.
Absolutely wild.
I feel like it's the opposite for a lot of, I was going to say, I feel like it's the opposite for a lot of people. Like, I feel like no one's really gunning for legal services between Thanksgiving and New Year's.
That holiday cheer.
Yeah. Although, like, I feel like business owners, once the New Year hits, they're going to want to start getting stuff in a row for the new year. But, like, that's no one's priority over the holidays. So,
yeah.
I feel like,
I will say I am taking a full 5 days off the week of Christmas. But
that's nice. That's real nice.
Probably still be checking the emails, making sure people are not freaking out at the library.
Well, and if you check it when you're gone, then you have less to sort through and you come back. So it's just a double-edged sword.
That's how I put it. I love a good Sunday night email devour.
Yeah, because then you feel ahead of the game.
Head start on the week.
Yeah. I usually, like, even if I don't look at them Sunday night, as soon as I get up on Monday, I look through everything and clear it out before, like, even if it's, like, right when I wake up. Yeah. And then I'll, like, actually start working later. But anyway.
There are two kinds of people in the world, Beth. We are the people who keep our emails clean.
And then there's the people that have, like, 4,000 unread emails.
That makes me nauseous.
I have that on one of my accounts because I literally can't figure out. I can't delete the emails fast enough because they're all promotions. Yeah. But not on, like, my work email.
Yeah.
So.
Well, now you know our email habits, everyone.
These are the burning questions that people have that they are dying to know.
Speaking of habits, this whole podcast is about our habit of watching The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
What a segue.
So let's dive into the episode. So we joined Tayshia on a morning. And she's carrying a full tray of chocolate croissants. I'm thinking,
for sore eyes.
Where was my invitation? I would have definitely gone in the bubble I would have quarantined just to have brunch with Tayshia.
Yeah, I was thinking that, like, as this whole brunch scenario was being set up, and before I remembered that JoJo was coming on the episode, I was like, I don't know who she's going to have brunch with, but she's probably a great brunch partner.
JoJo sounds like an A+ brunch date.
Both of them are.
Yeah. But JoJo's the type, like, okay, I love Tayshia. She's effervescent. But JoJo does not meet a stranger. That's my vibe.
She doesn't.
JoJo.
She's so warm and friendly and welcoming, and, like, seems like she just really likes everyone.
Listen, you heard it here first. JoJo and Tayshia, power couple. Like, friend power couple.
Yes. I agree.
I saw this spread and I thought, I'm really craving some low acid orange juice.
Oh, do they make that?
Yes. And I didn't know that it existed until I started having acid reflux stuff happening. #aging.
Happens when you get old.
You have to think about what you put in your body.
I never understood people who took Tums until I had to take them. And now I understand.
So my strategy, because I don't like taking them. My strategy is to just...
Hear me. I do not take them often at all. Like, probably, like, once a month. But I take it, like... Because I don't often, like, truly need it. But the times that I need it, I need it. And then when you take it, you're like, I don't know how, but this just worked a miracle in my body.
I probably should be more open to taking it. My strategy is to just stop eating the foods that cause it when they cause it.
That is a healthier strategy. My strategy is to eat all the foods anyway and then take Tums if it gets bad.
Yeah, that's what Cam does. But... I just low acid orange juice, guys. If you love orange juice like I do, and you know what it does to you, just get the low acid. It's a miracle.
I've been drinking orange juice every day.
I literally, when I saw this, I thought about jumping off my couch and going to the store and getting some.
Really?
Yeah,
I have
'cause
some in
was
the
like,
fridge right now,
dang.
and it's
Man,
delicious.
I'm salivating. Anyways.
It's like even if I don't eat any other fruits or vegetables today, at least I know that I drank this orange juice.
I love oranges, fruit of the day.
I thought you were going to say fruit. I thought you were going to say fruit of the loom. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh. So JoJo shows up. I had forgotten that that JoJo was coming in to stand in for Chris Harrison. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, I forgot that too. It really slipped my mind. But then once I remembered, I was excited.
Also, they really should have utilized JoJo a lot more.
Yeah, where was she? I was ready for her to be chatting it up with the guys, figuring out what makes them tick. I
wanted her to be like in the date, like on the easy one-on-one date. I wanted her to pop out.
Yeah, like because I feel like Chris is or even in the group dates. I don't think she was at any of the group dates, and Chris is at those. No. That was disappointing.
Yeah. I really missed that. I thought that was a missed opportunity. I don't even know if she'll be here next week because I don't know.
Chris was only gone for a couple of days, so I guess it depends on how long they make him quarantine for afterwards, or like how much time is in between. Maybe she'll MC the rose ceremony because technically, like what happened tonight wasn't finished. So I bet she'll be in the next episode. That's true.
She did like do a classic Chris Harrison move later when she sits the guys down and shares news with them and makes them think something a lot worse is going to happen.
And she was working tactful. She was working it.
Okay, I'm going to share this later, but I do have a good comment for something she did later that I thought was A+.
Okay, I'm excited.
But I can't get ahead of myself.
Okay, we gotta move past the brunch at the very least.
Yes. So basically wrap up brunch. Tayshia says she's falling for multiple people, and that we hear again her fear is that she's been married before. She wants her next marriage to be her forever relationship.
Right.
Chris sits the men down and says, he, of course, tries to make it really dramatic. He says, I'll be stepping away, take my son to college, and JoJo will be subbing in. What did you think when JoJo walked in? What was like the first thought in your brain? Or if you had one?
I was thinking, are they going to know who she is? And are they going to have a crush on her?
I literally was like, guys, she's engaged. And I know I literally was like, they better not think this is another option for them.
What if they were like, and you get a second Bachelorette and you get to choose which one? Oh my
gosh.
That would be crazy town. That's like basically what they did with Caitlin Bristow and that other girl.
And Britt.
Sorry, Britt. I didn't remember your name.
That was a good story. We don't have time to talk about that story, but that is a good story. Go watch it. I was concerned that the men were going to think this was another option because she is gorgeous, but she's also very taken. Fun fact, Jordan did get her like a new engagement ring. Like when they got engaged on the show, and then they've been engaged for a while because they were trying to get to know each other, and then he gave her another engagement ring to be like,
it's real. Like it's between the two of us. We've made it this far.
This is real. Yeah.
Well, because he re-proposed to her too.
Yes.
Which I think is really cool.
Way more meaningful, honestly.
Yeah, because it was like
that time
not staged or anything.
Yeah.
So that was cute. I think they were supposed to get married. They were supposed to get married this summer, but because of COVID, they couldn't. But anyway,
and they do want a banging wedding. Anyways, yes. So first date, Zac C.
Yes, and before they like read off the date card that JoJo brings in, of course they play up Ben saying he really needs to have a one-on-one again. So we obviously know he's not going to get one again because they're including that.
Yeah, but I think he really did shine this episode, and we'll get into
totally.
that.
Can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah. So Zac C and Tayshia are their date is to take a series of wedding photos with different sets of different garments. what did you think about this date idea? Would you like this kind of date?
I think I personally, like, if I had been, like, if this was, like, me meeting my husband and getting married, then I think it would be kind of fun, because I think I would like to try on wedding dresses. But for Tayshia, I mean, obviously we see, like, on the date, she's kind of nervous about it. And I'm just, like, that's not fun. Maybe if you've already been married, I don't know.
Yeah. What I'll say is... Yeah, I had a lot of thoughts about this. I have not been married before, so I can't say that I completely relate to Tayshia, but I can relate on a much smaller level, because the dress I wore in my wedding was the dress that I had actually bought from my first engagement. So, like,
oh, yeah.
I was nervous about wearing that dress for, because I bought that dress with the intent of wearing it at a different wedding. And now I was choosing, because I had a really short engagement with Cam, I chose to wear that dress to my wedding with Cam. And I totally understand, like, the anxieties around, like, objects that have meaning, especially a wedding dress. Mm-hmm. But what I'll say is, like, once you meet, like, the right person and you know that it's right, like, all of those worries just, like, go away. Like, I know she can't feel that right now because she doesn't know who her person is.
Yeah. I don't think she would feel like that if it was her actually getting married again.
Oh, absolutely not. But it's totally understandable in this context.
I feel like it's just
a triggering moment.
Yeah. It's just like, in this context, it's just a reminder for her that she has a really big decision to make, essentially. And she doesn't want to make the wrong one.
Well, you're also thinking, like, the last time I wore one of these, it was with my ex-husband who cheated on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but I think that it was good that Zac could tell basically immediately that she was uncomfortable, and was really good in that situation to, like, help her make the most of it.
He was an all-star, because, okay, I do want to say the photographer was amazing. His whole vibe.
Who is he?
He had, like, the blue eyeliner, the ascot.
I need to know who he is.
I know. We need a photo cred. For who this was.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't come up with, like, a little banner of who he was, because he was so heavily featured. He was a character in and of himself.
He had amazing legs.
Yeah.
You see those legs?
They were really toned and, like, tanned.
Yeah.
That
takes work. Anyways, he was amazing. And I felt like, Zac C was the all-star here. But I do feel like the photographer was helpful in creating kind of a more fun, light, rather than, like, a serious, these are wedding photos.
Yeah, I agree.
My favorite moment was when the photographer came out with the veil. And she was kind of unsure about the veil. And Zac C was like, I don't want you to do anything you don't want to do.
That's a surefire way to win a woman's heart, I'll tell you what. Because
I nearly cried.
That was what she needed in that moment.
Yeah.
And just needed someone to be, like, in her corner through something that was kind of uncomfortable for her. Yeah. That was really sweet.
I loved that. He was being super, on a different level than I think the mass majority of our population. Incredibly, like, able to read her and bounce off her energy and accommodate her. Because there probably would be a lot of people who would have been in his shoes that would have just been equally as uncomfortable.
Right.
And you know what's even more telling, looking back on it now? Because we find out later that Zac C had also been married.
Yes.
Yeah, so looking back on it now, I'm like, they were both feeling things.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, which is cool too, that and finding out later how his relationship ended. I'm sure there could be a lot of heavy stuff for him associated with that whole date, but the fact that he was able to still be fully present and enjoy that with her, I think says a lot about his emotional maturity and, like, how far he's
way more mature than I am.
Yeah.
That
for
was
real.
I mean, for real, all-star, A+. So he earned some street cred with me this week. I mean, I didn't dislike him before, but
like Tayshia said, I can't remember when she said it, but she said like there's clearly more to Zac than that I haven't found out about yet, and that he intrigued her, and so that's why I think it's exciting and satisfying to get underneath, because we're all picking up on that. And
yeah, I find Zac C to be almost the opposite of Bennett, because Bennett is like, he talks a lot, he makes a lot of comments, and Zac C is more of this like, you really have to get him one-on-one to like see his personality.
Yeah,
With
he's
Bennett,
not just gonna throw around comments, or he's not gonna just talk willy-nilly. He's very deliberate about everything that he does and says.
But that makes sense when we hear his story. It makes sense that he's the way that he is now.
Right.
So, but we find out that Zac C,
at the night portion of the date,
the dinner portion of the date, he shares, I mean, this guy's lived like two lives.
Yeah, because he said the first thing and then just like more and more and more stuff kept coming, and I was like,
I feel like I missed something because I was trying to keep up.
I know.
But yeah, so first off, we find out that he felt ill and disoriented. Finds out he has a brain tumor. Like within days, is in surgery to get it removed, and because of the surgery, he had to be on painkillers because of recovery, and that made him spiral into drug usage. Bad drug usage.
Abuse. Drug
abuse. That's a better term. And alcohol abuse, partying. I don't know where in this timeline that he got married. Did you catch that?
I think it sounded like it was pretty immediately, like, following,
like he was
the
already
brain
in the
tumor
relationship
stuff
before. Okay.
I don't know if he was in the relationship before,
what makes sense? What makes sense is he has this brain tumor. He's like, wow, my life flashed before my eyes. I need to get married.
Yeah.
That's the interpretation I
Yeah,
have.
that's what I got to. And, like, at the same time, he was also, like, getting more and more into these just self-destructive habits, because he probably felt like, I need to live it up while I can, basically.
Yeah, being pulled in those two different directions, I guess.
Right.
Of making the most of things, but also being self-destructive.
Right.
So he shares that he's been arrested, he's gotten a DUI, things got out of control, and his wife left him.
And it says he was married for a year. So
a year.
That all happened like in the span of a year.
So much happened in a year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then, I mean, he obviously feels a lot of regret of like what happened. And then there's the whole story about the check.
Oh my gosh.
Going to the, so correct me if I'm wrong, Beth, but what happened was he had a check from his ex. He was gonna just cash it.
He had a check that he stole from his dad. Like
his dad.
Yeah, like a blank check.
And that makes way more sense.
Yeah, so he took it to the bank to try to cash it to like get money, and the teller at the bank could tell something was up. And so she called the dad because the number is on the check. Yeah. And he came down there and he said that was his like spiritual and something, he called it spiritual and something else, like his turning point basically of, okay, like it's time to stop now.
Yeah. I mean, number one, shout out to the dad for being like, he could have just gotten mad and been like, you're out of my life.
Or even like called the police on him or something.
Yeah. And number two, shout out to the bank teller.
She could
have just pushed that button that calls the police. The panic button.
I aspire to be someone like that who would do something like that. Like that is the most, you don't have to do that. No one's going to even probably thank you for it. No one's going to ever even know that you did it, but you literally changed someone's life. Like that is just the soul of humanity, honestly.
Yeah. But just what a story. I mean, we knew Zac C had a past because he had talked about overcoming addiction before.
And we knew it's in his job, addiction coach specialist or something. So.
Yes. So now he's on the other side of it, giving back. But I just didn't expect this kind of story. It was a whirlwind.
Yeah, I didn't either because he's so composed and just mature seeming. But I think that's the lie that we all believe about, like, what addiction looks like is, it doesn't happen to, like, normal people or, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
yeah, as I've gotten older, and I don't want to say and wiser, but as I've gotten older, I hear more stories about people who are in your day-to-day that you admire even that struggle with things like this. So,
and you can also never know because
yeah, I agree. I mean, I won't go into more details, but I also think things like this, I mean, the experience that he had and the people in his life, that was another big thing. The people in his life are key in his recovery. So having those support system that he had, I mean, was a huge note for his turnaround, in my opinion, because if his dad hadn't done what he had done, I don't know if he would have turned around the way that he did.
Yeah, and I'm happy, really happy for him because that's a challenge.
He seems like a stand-up guy. I hope, my hope is always that he's not, like, too good to be true.
I know. It's hard to not feel that way to a certain extent, especially with some promos that we see later.
I know. So, we'll talk about it. But that's exactly what I'm hinting at.
Yes.
So, not a surprise here, but Zac C gets the date rose.
As he should.
And
I love what Tayshia says.
What'd she say?
After he shares his story, she says, your story is what makes you special. I think you're incredible. And I thought that was...
Yes.
That was so... What a great thing to say to someone of... Yeah, the story, your story, whatever it is, that makes you... That's the most special thing about you. I thought that was really sweet.
Tayshia does have a record, and a good one of hearing these stories and... genuinely finding a deeper connection with that person rather than it just being like I'm listening to their story. Like she finds a way to connect.
Yeah, and I think that hearing them, and we see this later in the episode too, but the vulnerability of others really moves her, and I think that's a really special quality because I think sometimes, especially in our day and age, we can treat the vulnerability of other people as like entertainment and like, oh yeah, this is a crazy thing that happened to them. But she sees it as more of like, this really moves me and impacts me and affects me.
Yeah. And I think it's affecting to her because she sees the courage that it takes to tell that kind of story. And I'll get into more of it later, but these men, I have never seen contestants go out for a lead like I'm seeing these men go out for Tayshia.
Yeah,
that'll come up more in the group date.
They're laying it all out on the line completely. It's some quality about her.
Yeah, I get it.
Same.
So then they have their little Ferris wheel part of the date, which I think is so cute.
I love Ferris wheels.
We get a Notebook vibe, the Notebook vibe.
Yes.
So,
do you like Ferris wheels?
Very cute. I'm not like, I want to ride a Ferris wheel, but if I see one, I'm like, let's go.
Oh, okay. But you're not like afraid of it.
It's like $8. Oh no. I do not fear any amusement park rides.
Not even a single one?
The scariest thing about amusement park rides to me is the germs.
Honestly, almost same. I still have a hard time making myself go on rides. I've never been on a ride I didn't like once I forced myself on it. It's more like the buildup of it. But
I do have a childhood story.
Freak me out.
I do have a sweet childhood story that I'm not going to tell because of time, but one of my sweetest memories is my dad basically forcing me on a roller coaster and me realizing that I loved roller coasters.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I have mixed feelings about that because I want my kids to love roller coasters because Nate loves roller coasters and I don't want them to be afraid.
Force me. He was just kind of like, you've made this decision to get in this line and we're following through.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. It wasn't like I was crying getting on.
Okay.
You said Nate doesn't like roller coasters?
No,
or he does?
He loves them and he'll ride anything. Okay. And I want them to be like that. So
me and Cam are both like, we will get off a roller coaster and get back on. We were like,
that's a great quality.
Get back in line.
I feel like if I've already ridden it, I am way less apprehensive to ride it again. It's just
what if the line's super short, like the wait's
then you don't have to anticipate it, then you can just get on it and not think about
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's definitely the anticipation that really gets to me. That's how I am with like everything. Like before we came to my in-laws, we got COVID tests just to be safe, and I was so nervous about it just because I was like, what if
the
it hurts?
anticipation is the worst thing about just about anything in life.
Yeah, because then like even like when I've gotten tattoos before, I'll be like, oh no, it's gonna hurt so bad, and then I get it and it's totally fine. So
yeah.
Anywho, I don't know what we were talking about. We
were talking about Ferris wheels and we took a deep dive. But that's okay. That's what makes this podcast special.
So special.
Speaking of anticipation, I'm sure these men were anticipating the group date that was coming.
Sure, they were waiting for that card.
Yes, I believe the men who were on this date were. I feel like I'm gonna miss a name. Ben.
Oh yeah, Noah, I didn't get it.
Ben, Noah, Riley, Brendan, Damar, Bennett. I'm missing people, but
Ivan was on it. Blake was on it.
Okay, I think that's it.
Did you say Brendan?
Yeah. I think we got it.
Oh, Spencer. Spencer was on it.
Spencer.
I don't know who else though.
I think that's enough. That's enough.
Riley was on it.
Yes, I have him.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So, anyway, I'm just gonna name all the contestants.
The group date. Wait, what did you think about this? Oh, wait, what?
I just want to say that I'm giving Tayshia and Zac C's date an A+. That's my rating for it.
Oh, gold star.
My grade is an A+.
A+. Solid 4.0. Yeah. I mean, great date. I mean, can't think of anything that probably would have made this better. Actually, one thing.
What?
If they had a scoop of ice cream, that would have made it all
But
better.
Not a 10-gallon bucket like they did last week.
No, a scoop. A scoop.
Single scoop, people. Okay, anyway,
so
back to the group date.
It's an art group date. What did you think overall about this idea?
I called it the nude painting group date.
Yeah, I put nude drawing.
The funniest part.
What did you think about this overall theme?
It was kind of random, but I mean,
Who was the girl leading things?
I have no idea who that was. She reminded me of just my sister is a art student at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, which is like a super artsy school. So their art program is really big, and the whole time I was just thinking of this one of her art classes that she would take, and seems like one of her professors because she always tells me funny stories about her zany art professors. So in my head, this woman is just a zany art professor from Virginia Commonwealth University.
Fun fact, when I was at the University of Georgia, there would be postings for short-term jobs for being a nude model for the art school. And I'll be honest, your girl considered it.
I mean, it's probably some good money.
Good pay. And I thought, this will be liberating. I mean, because I was, very uncomfortable and not in tune with my body in college. I was very uncomfortable. And I just thought maybe this will help me get in tune and not be ashamed. And I never did it, but I would totally do it now.
I would not do it, but not because I'm ashamed, just because
it's for art. It's not like they're videoing it. They're just drawing it.
It's not because of any of that.
That's a completely different thing.
I just wouldn't do it because I don't want to. Like, I just don't want to do it. But I don't have...
No, I'm not going to seek it out. But if someone was like, hey, Kara, we really want you.
Dude, that would freak me out. I'd be like, excuse me?
Listen, I got some unique lumps.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's move on. Sorry, everyone. My mom's gonna hear this.
That's so funny. Wait. I just wanted to say that my sister, because she's an art student, they have to do like nude. They do like nude model stuff, like drawing it, and so I mean I don't know why I felt the need to say that.
My dad had to do that. He took one art class. And he did, it was like the kind, I'm sure your sister's done it too, where they move every so often. Yeah. And one of the most, I really want I probably won't be able to have it until much later in life, but I really want his figure drawings from that time. Like, I want it framed in my house because I just love it. I'm going to ask him that let me see if I can get that for Christmas.
Yeah, maybe he'll give it to you for Christmas. Free gift. But something funny that Blake said at the beginning of this was, which Blake, boo, whatever. But this was funny that he said, this is going to be the third time I'm getting naked on this journey. He said it like that, like journey. This ... journey.
He really made an assumption there.
Yeah, but didn't we all?
I mean, I was just like, 3 is too many. They can't keep doing this to us. To us.
Yeah,
and to
that it would have been too much. So I'm glad they didn't make them get naked. But like, I mean, I've just never in real life encountered like just walking into a room and there's just naked people in there that I don't know. So I think I would be jarred by the experience.
I think I would initially be jarred, but then be like,
whatever.
I'd be down to draw. Anyways, what did you think about Bennett making Noah move so he can sit next to Tayshia?
Okay, here's the thing. Unfortunately, Bennett is getting cringe.
Things have taken a turn for the worse, everyone.
I
don't know what to think.
I wrote down later, and I also tweeted it. Hold on. I want to read the exact thing that I said because I think it's very accurate. I said, "Is Bennett a real person or a character in a book that somehow escaped?"
I agree with that statement. My other statement is, I just don't think how Bennett thinks he's fooling anyone with his antics.
I don't know. I really want to talk about him more when he gives Noah the gift, as we can refer to it.
I have thoughts.
The gift with the capital G, or the present with a capital P if you prefer that. But at this particular moment, it was just I don't like Noah, but I definitely didn't like Bennett in this moment. And the more that
not a good look.
No. And the more that I see Tayshia with other guys, the more that I'm I already knew this, but I 100% know that Bennett doesn't need to be there. So it makes everything that he does more uncomfortable.
But it's something that if Tayshia had been standing right there, he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting this two different sides thing, and I'm not about it.
He's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, Mr. Harvard.
Well, we did say he has a serial killer vibe. So
yeah, and so did Margaret Cho said that too.
And so did Chatty Broads.
Yeah.
So they were all right. I mean, I was still also right. I still live for his energy. But
I mean, I like the bouginess, but
this is too much.
I was disappointed this episode with his behavior. but I'm sure. I don't know. He'll still be in paradise.
Yeah, he'll be in paradise. He'll be hilarious to watch in paradise. Like, he's made for paradise, and honestly, he's made for TV. Like, I want to watch him. He knows it. Yes, that's the bad part, is that he knows it. But he also blindfold kisses her in front of all the men.
Yes. Well, before that,
for the second time.
Yeah. Well, before that, he says they're drawing before the blindfold, and he says to Tayshia, "This is cringe. You gotta have some good brush strokes, babe. I know you do." What the heck?
That's like something that
is there some innuendo there that I like?
If there is, it's very poorly done. But
just the way that he said it, I was like,
it sounds like something that someone in the 40s would say or in the 30s or 20s in a speakeasy.
Yes.
It's like, you gotta have some good brush strokes, babe. Like that kind of thing.
Now, something that was also cringe, but I didn't love the moment with Bennett, but I loved something that happened with Ed.
Okay, what?
So the art lady's going around commenting on all the art, and I'm glad we got to see them up close.
Oh wait, we should say what they were doing. Like, the first thing that they did was they were supposed to draw the naked couple that was in the room.
Yeah,
right. And why was Tayshia blindfolded?
It was until the next part.
Okay,
the next part was the clay.
Okay.
So they drew first. They drew the nude couple. And the men's drawings were absolutely hilarious. That is something that, guys, I need to know where I can get a copy of one of these drawings. Specifically Ed's. I need Ed's.
Remind me what Ed's is.
Okay, here's the thing that we're going to get with Ed's. His was really simple. It had the couple, and then the art lady comes around and says, "I love how you got the fern in there." And then Ed says, "Oh, it's always about the fern." But he said it like monotone. He was like still in the zone drawing. He was like, "Oh, it's always about the fern."
He's like not even trying to like play it off for the camera. He's into the fern.
I want a mug with that on it.
Someone get on Etsy right now and make that for us, please.
Anyways, I loved that moment. I think I loved it a little too much, but it was great.
That's so funny.
Some redemption for Ed.
Yes.
But then we have Bennett presents his drawing to the group. Did you catch this?
Your face, right?
I'm so over it.
Your face looks like a meme of someone who's really disappointed. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, just to give you a visual. Did you catch this?
I must have been up to something because I missed some of it.
Okay, I miss a lot of things too, but I did not miss this. Here's what my stomach's literally doing flips. So he presents his drawing and he's like, "Here's the couple, here's the fern." And then I did this in the background. It refers to the drama going on in the background because there's always something going on.
Oh wait, yeah, I did.
And he like looks at Noah.
It's like
my head whip.
Yeah, it's as if he's in a play. Like that's
they cut to Tayshia and she's not having it. Like,
no, she doesn't. She's not amused because she kind of likes Noah.
But yeah, I mean, I get it. But like, to me, this means that Bennett's not doing this for Tayshia to like be funny for Tayshia. He's strictly doing it for his own ego, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, it's weird how much he feels like he needs to like point out that Noah is incompetent. It's like, why do you care about that so much?
Yeah, it's very strange. But we do move on to the clay blindfold session.
Yes.
I want you to share your thoughts on the Bennett moment here.
That was so stupid. Like, okay, so what was the prompt?
So they were blindfolded and they were given, a ball of clay and they were told to create
something they love or what? I don't know.
I don't even remember what they had to create, but I think whatever the prompt was, they went off of it because we had pepperoni pizzas and penises and lots of other things.
And then Bennett makes like a circle with a bunch of houses in it for like him and Tayshia's.
I think it was like something you love, because like Spencer said that he made something that's universally loved, and that's pepperoni pizza.
He ain't wrong.
That was my favorite one.
Yeah, me too. That was the moment when I decided that Spencer wasn't all that bad and that maybe I've misjudged him.
I also felt like, how we've been sleeping on Spencer.
I wasn't sleeping on him. I was specifically saying that I did not like him.
I just thought this moment was charming.
No,
it was charming.
Yeah, so I'm open to changing my mind. I'm all about changing your opinion when you learn something new, and I learned today that Spencer was funny, so I like him more now. But yeah, Bennett, so like Bennett makes these like, he's like, oh, I've made all of these houses, our house in New York, our mountain house, our summer home in the Hamptons, which was like honestly funny on a level, but like it would have been funny.
Well, then he kept going.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would have been funny if
timing
he was like,
was off.
It would have been funny if he was like doing it in a self-deprecating way, but then he just did it in a way that was like, oh, you actually are serious about that.
Because then he went into, I forgot, he said, I didn't have time to create our Paris chateau and our mountain retreat. Ideally, those would be there too.
Yeah, that was weird.
And I was like, yeah, he should have stopped while he was ahead.
Yeah, that was just
bad move.
It wasn't working for him, but it was. I still laughed about it.
Oh, of course, and then Noah says the thing about privilege. I forgot. Did he say like, can you spell privilege?
Bennett how to spell privilege, which that was also weird.
Well, first off, don't ask Bennett to spell anything because he can't spell limousine.
Yeah, we've already seen that he can't do basic math either. So.
I mean, think about this. Think about it this way. Noah comes from a family of what? How many kids? 12?
I don't know.
A lot of kids.
And he lives in Oklahoma.
So I'm imagining that, he probably has a pretty
modest
average
lifestyle. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing I can't get over when he said that thing about privilege. Travel nurse.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he definitely has. He can't be talking too much about privilege.
Exactly. I'm like, you're literally
white
using
and male and Protestant.
And you're literally using your job to visit countries and be like, wow, they need my help.
I think he literally was just speaking from a money.
I know, but I wasn't.
No, I hear you.
I wasn't into either of them. I was just like, both of you are being awkward and like, no one cares about this.
That would have been more appropriate to say, like in the moment interview, like behind the scenes.
Yeah, or to Bennett's face in the later events that transpire.
Yeah, but yeah, it was an awkward time to say. My interpretation is that he probably literally wasn't thinking and just spit out,
which which makes it like more uncomfortable. It's just weird.
It was uncomfy. So let's move on from that uncomfy moment because then we have the self-portraits. I'm loving the phases of this art.
It's reminding me of like stuff we would do in art class, and I love art class.
Yeah, I miss art class. I really want to sign up for this pottery class in my area. Very expensive, but I'm going to save up for it. And I'm going to
You should. That sounds so fun.
It's an 8-week pottery class. And
I feel like you'd be good at that.
Now I have to do it because Beth believes
You have to. You have to do it, and then we'll give away one of your pieces of art to our listeners.
Anyone wants to donate to my pottery class fund?
We'll set you up with a GoFundMe. Or better yet, we'll just send out your Venmo.
Just send my Venmo.
Anyways. Don't give GoFundMe the part of the proceeds.
Yeah. But they do this self-portrait, and I really do, for the most part, the men really made a solid effort. And they all had different interpretations of the self-portrait challenge.
I was not prepared for the depth.
No.
By any means. Like,
that's
almost
a very accurate way of explaining it.
Almost to the point where I felt uncomfortable, not because I, like, didn't want them to say that, but just like, oh, I was not ready for this.
Tayshia wasn't ready for it either.
Yeah, she got blindsided and wrecked.
I think she was expecting, like, you know, some serious ones, some lighthearted ones where they actually try to draw their own faces. But the men took this on a meta level, a symbolic level. So meta. And I really do feel like we need to talk about most of them because they were all good and interesting in their own way.
Okay, yeah. So first was
the... Oh, shoot. Did I miss Okay, they literally blinked past Noah, but he had, like, the face with the black side and the white side. And I feel like it was supposed to be, like, here's, like, the hard parts of my personality, like, things that I'm not proud of, and here are the things that I am proud of. That's what I think it was.
I don't remember his at all, so...
They literally didn't spend any time on it.
Sounds like a Phantom of the Opera scenario to me.
Hey, maybe it was a good one. But the first one we actually spent time on is Brendan's portrait where he simply made the frame. And what did you think about this?
I liked it. Did you?
I did too.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you going to hate on it?
My only critique, even though it was so cute, was that he said that his self-portrait wasn't complete. And I said... It is complete because you are complete as a human being.
That is a very good point, Kara. No relationship will complete you. Newsflash.
No. But it was incredibly adorable. Great interpretation of the challenge.
I didn't realize that he made the picture frame for some reason. Like, I thought he just found it somewhere. So that makes it better. Because for a second I was like...
I know, he's a roofer, so he has to be able to make something.
Yeah. Okay, see, that makes it better. Like, if I was Tayshia, I would want to keep it and put our future wedding photo in it. What if?
That's really cute.
What if?
I have chills. My heart skipped a beat right there.
That must happen.
But what was so adorable was, like, the eye contact that was made.
He was being very earnest and very genuine.
I love him. In a contestant way.
Can you hear my brother-in-law whistling? He's whistling so loud. No, but I kind of
wish I would. Is he a talented whistler?
If anyone hears that in the background, that's what that is. So, anyway.
Shout out to my friend Katie. Won't be listening to this because I don't think she watches The Bachelor. But shout out to my friend Katie. She is the best whistler I've ever met.
Really? I'm a pretty decent whistler, too.
She's like the kind of person that you would call up to be like, I need you to whistle for this track I'm recording.
Oh, that's a major skill.
Yeah. So shout out to her. But, okay, so next piece of art. Bennett starts out his explanation with, I did something different. Listen, Bennett, everyone did something different during this challenge. You didn't do anything different
because everyone is doing their own thing. So
I just stop trying to individualize yourself. You're individual just by existing.
So true.
Anyways.
That's so true.
Yeah, and that's an encouragement to you.
I do generally love a cross stitch.
Me too. I went through a time where I sold cross stitches on Etsy. Gave them as gifts.
Oh.
I'm pretty good at it. I'm not fantastic at it, but I can do a solid floral wreath border.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. I did not know that about you.
Yeah, next time you come over, I'll show some of the pieces that are around our house that you've probably seen but didn't know that I made them.
Yeah, you need to take me on a tour, like those guided museum tours at like art places or art museums where you like get the headphones.
I feel like I do that when people come over the first time. I am kind of showing off, like, here's our thing from this place. Here's our thing from that place.
As you should.
Yeah, we have some cool stuff in our house.
Yeah.
But Bennett says he does his embroidery with a heart on it, and he says, that despite what people think, he didn't grow up in a privileged home. I'm thinking that he's referring to the conversation that he had with Tayshia about how his parents never really seemed happy in their marriage, and maybe that affected his childhood in one way or another. That was my interpretation.
Well, that's the thing. Like people have different definitions of privilege, and obviously there are different types of privilege. So
yeah. So I mean, he definitely seemingly has been privileged in ways of funds,
wealth,
and background, and many other ways.
Right.
But maybe has a deficit in the family love and care department. Who knows? So, and then Ivan's art piece was interactive. It was a puzzle.
This was very fitting for his personality because we know he likes games because he's played chess.
I love a puzzle.
Well, you know how I feel about puzzles.
Yes. But you're right. It is fitting for his personality. And he had Tayshia put the last piece in it. That was cute.
Very good idea.
Still, Ivan, I think you're complete as a human,
right? As
an individual, but it's still cute.
What would be a better analogy?
I don't know. The completeness thing gets to me.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to think, like, what could you have done that's like, I'm already complete, but I'm adding you.
You know, like maybe like you draw. Okay, here's a good one. Okay. You draw like a landscape that you feel like is representative of your personality, and you're saying this landscape photo is complete, but you know what would make it better? A rainbow. And then the rainbow is the relationship.
Oh my gosh! Today at dinner, my mother-in-law told me. My mother-in-law told me that my husband, when he was 3. Had an imaginary dog named Rainbow.
That's so cute.
I know, because he said it was all different colors. And she said that and she said that one time they were in Walmart and he started crying because he wanted them to buy Rainbow a bone.
I'm telling you, okay, Nate is an incredibly empathetic person in my opinion. Yeah. And we really can see why. It's rooted from childhood.
I know. Isn't that so funny? Anyway, when you said rainbow, it made me think of that.
That is so adorable. I'm tearing up.
Oh, no. Don't tear up. He's not sad anymore.
Okay, speaking of animals, he's not sad anymore. Speaking of animals, Blake, who is like a wildlife... His job's in with wildlife. Something about conservation.
Oh, that's how he knew about turtle doves. The whole time I was like, how does he know this?
No, I was confused at first, and I was like, oh yeah, he like works in nature. So he says he drew a portrait of a turtle dove, which I thought the portrait was kind of cool.
Honestly, it was kind of fire. Like, stick a frame on that. It's some abstract art.
It was kind of abstract. And he says that a turtle dove is a monogamous animal. Now, we can get into how people value monogamy over other forms of relationships, but I get what he was trying to say.
He's not thinking on that level.
No, but I get what he was trying to say. Blake himself wants to be monogamous. He wants to be like a turtle dove, and he's looking.
And presumably Tayshia does as well.
Yes, I think so. I think that's fair to say. And the turtle dove is flying and looking for a better life. And he is also flying and looking for a better life than what he grew up with. Because I can't remember, what was his family background that he said?
I don't know if
lots of fighting, cops in the house.
Yeah, he didn't say, like, we haven't gotten the full story yet.
But it was rough. We got enough for it to be like, oh, cops in the house, dang.
Yeah.
So then we move on to Riley. Riley has drawn this like skyscape with like stringy clouds and some seagulls.
The connection of that was lost on me.
That's weird
story.
He had a good story, but I just said
there's no cohesive
connection to the painting.
Yeah, there's nothing cohesive about those two elements.
Maybe he made a connection. They just didn't have the time for it because he did have quite the story.
Yeah,
to
and
tell.
you know, Riley's always got a good speech, good lengthy monologue.
It's only lengthy because he does the dramatic pauses.
Yeah.
Because he says, like, you know, he says, my mom called me for the first time in years.
It's like he's
and she asked me what keeps me. That was my dramatic pause.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you on your dramatic pause.
She asked me what keeps me going, and he paused for a solid 5 seconds. In between
it reminds me of like when you are listening to NPR and it's like Moth Radio Hour, you know, where they're like telling like those like kind of like spoken word stories that are really emotional.
Yes.
That's like
are you still there?
Yeah, you're like, is my radio working? Oh, they were just okay. Got it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that parallel. But what I will say, his story did have a good meaning behind it because he said that what keeps him going is the hope for having a family and being able to spend quality time with his children. And apparently she said, you know, why do you care about that at your age, in his 20s? And he was like, I care about that because I didn't have it.
Yeah, that
hit home.
Yeah, it did. It really did. At first I was like, where's this going? And I was kind of writing him off. But when he said that, I thought,
it definitely explains the passion that he has.
Yeah, and his pursuit of like this ideal life. Because I think that's what really motivates him.
Yeah, I understand it. I liked it. Don't get the connection. Some of the clouds were missing the string, so I feel like he ran out of time. But overall, good painting, good story. Let's move on to our last one, Ben.
Okay.
Ben, we didn't even get to see the painting that he did, number one. What did you think about this move?
I feel like it's going to be the unpopular opinion, but I was just like, if someone did that to me, I would feel really uncomfortable.
I think the only reason this worked is because of the delivery that the way he delivered it.
Yeah, I just it was hard for me to focus on that because I was like on edge about the actual actions that he was doing.
Yeah. I definitely was like, I'll get to it in a second, but I kind of had a cringe moment at one part, but,
we should say what he did.
What he did was he was like, okay, I forgot something. And he got a robe and then he stood in front of Tayshia. He was, you know, using his hands to cover his, you know, business. And, other than that, completely nude. Other than that. And he talks about showing up again.
Innuendo? And I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know.
And he just said like he was going to commit his entire body and himself to her.
That was so intense.
But the thing is, Ben, what else about Ben? He's really good about delivery.
He's so earnest.
Yeah. His delivery is what made this work. Because if anyone else had done this, like if Bennett had done this, it would have been funny. It wouldn't have been earnest.
Yeah. Here's what I said about Ben. He reminds me of a man from a Jane Austen novel. Like, he's just so... Like, he has all these emotions that are, like, floating right under the surface, and he's, like, trying to wear his heart on his sleeve, but he is worried that he's not doing it right.
He's in his head a lot.
And then sometimes that causes him to appear, like, closed off or whatever, because that's something that Tayshia has told him. And then he's, like... But he's just kind of, like, blundering around. Not, like, blundering around, but, like tripping over himself, trying to like fix it, but
and then
he just has a lot of emotion.
He has also a lot going on in his head.
Yeah, but he also has like, in addition to the emotion, he has this very deep undercurrent of strength. So
no, I think that parallel is spot on because in Jane Austen books also those men, they're blundering, trying to figure out how the heck they're going to communicate their emotions. And then they do this one, like, killer, great, like, expression of emotion finally at the end of the book.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
That's what this is. And I feel like Ben, his eyes say a lot about him. Like, he has a lot going on behind those eyes, and you can, like, read. He's very easy to read, I think, like by his face, like his face alone. But yeah, the moment last week where he was, saying that he thought that Tayshia thought that he was the worst, kind of that whole thing getting into his head and worrying about, thinking about their relationship all the time. I feel like that's very Pride and Prejudice-y.
So, yes, so true. And then he's, like, retroactively trying to fix it, but not because he's, like, a sleaze, just because he was so caught up and he just messed up, but, like, wants to fix it so bad. Very Mr. Darcy, in my opinion.
Yeah, he earned some kudos. I mean, unconventional, to say the least. But the good intent was there. I believe Ben has a good heart, and
I agree. He wasn't doing it to try and be like, look at my body,
check me out.
Yeah.
Now the one thing that I cringed about was that when he went to go hug her, he his penis had been on his hands, and then he used one hand and he touched her back, and I was like, ah!
Oh no!
So that was the one part I was like, uh-oh. But
that
Tayshia,
was uncomfy.
It was uncomfy, but somehow worked.
And then, because after
Tayshia,
that, she has to go off.
She's been overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But I think it wasn't just Ben. I think it was all these men told, most of the men told great stories about themselves and the portrait. And a lot of them seemed earnest, in my opinion.
Yes.
And that was when I was like, man, I've never seen this kind of behavior mass spread across a cast of contestants for a singular lead.
Yeah, and you have more experience with seasons than I do. So you would know even better than me, but I agree. I've never
just feel like in other seasons, more people would have gone a funnier route with this, or a more lighthearted route. And maybe it's 2020 putting things into perspective for people, or maybe it's just Tayshia's personality. But
I also wonder, like, a lot of these guys were originally cast for Claire's season, and she is, like, all about that emotional part. And I wonder if some of them were cast, like,
for that
with
reason,
that knowledge by the producers.
That's a good point.
Just a thought.
I think there's a lot of factors in play here, but I just have never seen this before. Because here's the thing. They weren't doing this with Claire.
No, they weren't. I mean, she didn't really give them a chance to.
No. But this is unprecedented. I have not seen this before. But
certainly.
Because of the performances from all these men, I feel like that's a not a great word for this portion of the date, but she says she can't pick one, and she wants to spend the rest of the date with them, which I think is very fair.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, how could you say no to all of those people who very clearly put themselves completely out there?
Yeah. So during the night portion, it kind of went by kind of quickly. Riley shares how him and his mom had to work to restore their relationship. So, like, it had been rocky. She was kind of out of his life, and now they have a relationship. Like, it has been restored, which I thought was really amazing.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah. They had really 2 short shots with Brendan and Ivan. One thing I want to note about the Brendan convo is when Brendan and Tayshia sit down, he initially sits down and he does, like, a cute little scoot towards her.
I know, that was so cute. And she scooted back, cute. Too. She, like, she reciprocated it.
They didn't sit initially close enough.
Yeah, that was funny.
Was so
I noticed
cute.
that too.
Like, that was so adorable. And I don't know what her and Ivan talked about. I missed it, but it was a good talk. It was really short.
I didn't write anything down about it. So,
but they had a good talk, a good check-in.
I think he said, like, like, I'm glad that it went well and you wanted to spend more time with all of us, but I wish that some of us had been more funny, because now I feel like it was really heavy, but he, like, said it in a funny way.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
And she laughed, so
she
that
was
was good.
like, yeah, took it lightly.
Yeah.
As the date progresses, the Bennett and Noah tension grows, and it's just become like the parasite on this date.
Yes.
And then we have, silver lining, we have a great moment with Ben and Tayshia. During this night portion.
I was not anticipating a conversation of this magnitude at this juncture.
What did you think about this?
I was taken aback. Like,
I have never heard a story about, at least this openly. I know there's been past contestants who have struggled with eating disorders, but I've never heard anyone openly discuss it like this before.
Yeah.
And also noting, like, that men struggle with eating disorders just like women do.
Yeah. I personally felt like, not that I didn't know, but I'd never really heard a man talk about that before. So I was very appreciative, like, even just for my own edification of his, like, sharing that, you know? So
yeah. We also find out here, like, Ben's little description thing that pops up on the screen has always said former veteran or veteran on it. Not former veteran. It said veteran.
Right.
And he says here that he's in fitness and nutrition.
Okay, so that
is his job.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he says he had bulimia for 10 years.
I wrote down it was 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Either way, that's so...
Either way, I mean, in my opinion, with eating disorders, like, it's... I don't want to say it's the same as addiction, but it's similar. Like, you're always having to be on guard with it. Even after you, like,
you can always fall back into that, yeah.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting. He shared, like, the why behind it happening. And it's very similar to many stories I've heard with, girls who fall into it. They wanted to be attractive to, the opposite sex. And the only way he knew how to get rid of that weight fast enough was to, make himself throw up. But
yeah.
But what a long time, I mean, to be dealing with that and such a pivotal time of your life. And I don't know, I just have never heard a story like that on this show. What a season for new stories.
I know.
New
and
perspectives.
And for real representation of, like, real life things that go on that aren't talked about or are considered taboo. And like, the reason that obviously it's great that producers and stuff are now giving more prominent features to things like that, but also that the contestants are being vulnerable to share, because I'm sure it, like, brings awareness where there isn't a lot of awareness. And I was also just thinking, like, after suffering with that for so long, the fact that he is in a better place and is comfortable to talk about it now, like, not that it's not hard at any stage, but that's, like, half of your life if he's in his 30s. So
that's such a long time.
Yeah. So,
and I can't imagine what, like, his day-to-day, how he has to be on guard for against slipping back into that.
And even, like, being in a place like on The Bachelorette where you're competing.
Oh my gosh,
and it's very looks-based a lot of the time. It's crazy.
I can't imagine.
I wonder if him and Zac C, like, connect over some of that.
I could see them being buddies.
Yeah,
for sure.
I could too. Which I think would be good if they're able to, like, have real conversations, hopefully, and help each other.
Yeah. Well, but this was a great conversation, and Tayshia says she's proud of him, and he gets the date rose, and it's well deserved, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm so glad he did. And then, meanwhile, Bennett and Noah are just acting like fools when there's real conversations happening.
I loved, though, I mean, not to downplay the rose giving, but I loved how she said, Bennett and Noah, I know something's going on, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And then she just walks away. Good night, guys. Bye.
Power move.
Honestly, at this point in the show, I just think that Bennett has been overkill with his jabs at Noah. And I don't like that he's pretending like he's not doing it. Because he is. And it's incredibly obvious. And you know what? Noah is not necessarily my cup of tea. But I don't really think he's done anything to really earn.
He hasn't done anything to the level that Bennett is implying he's done it. Like, he's done annoying stuff and stuff to make me not like him or not think that he's, like, as good as some of the other guys would be for Tayshia. But he's certainly not the most evil guy that's ever been on the show.
No. The vibe I'm getting from Bennett is that he went to some private school. He picked a kid at the beginning of the semester that annoyed him and bothered him. And he proceeded to treat them like he's treating Noah for a semester. And then whenever the teacher would be like, why are you picking on him? He'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. That's the
vibe.
Yep. That's the vibe.
It's just subtle enough to where it can't be labeled as outright bullying, but it's obvious enough to be like, you can't think that you're fooling anyone.
Yeah, it's just a waste of everyone's time at this point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's not a good look for your character, in my opinion.
Yeah, because he actually is a character, so.
Yeah. Get a hobby. That's what I say. Let's move on to Easy's one-on-one. To be completely honest, I did not write down a whole lot for this date.
The only thing that I really remember is they had that weird camera effect and some fake haunted house that was just in a hotel suite, and they made a book. Some producer made that book. Had to make a detailed book about what I'm assuming is a fake story of the haunting of William Morgan.
Hey, I did look this up. I didn't have enough time to find the William Morgan stuff, but I did find that there are reports of people citing ghosts and ghosty things at La Quinta Resort and Spa in Palm Springs.
Well, okay. I
don't know if the story itself is true, but I've read that there were sightings.
Well, I definitely believe in ghosts, so
I was going to ask you, do you believe in ghosts? You do believe in ghosts?
Yeah, 100%. Like, of course. What about you?
So would you like... Oh, I 100% believe in ghosts, but I want nothing to do with them. I want to leave them alone.
I'm okay with having something to do with them, like, in certain scenarios. Like,
the only kind of ghost I want anything to do with is Casper, the friendly ghost.
I think that, like, if I was just, like, in my house or something, or staying somewhere, and it was, like, non-nefariously haunted, and I happened to see a ghost, I would be okay with it. Like, I think that it would be maybe uncomfortable, but, like, I don't truly think that something bad is going to happen to me. Because I don't think that, like, the vast majority of ghosts are, like, evil. I just think they're here for some reason, and they're probably sad.
Oh, they're sad. I would hope that some of them would be happy. I don't know. I don't have a theory on, like, how ghosts come to be. I just know that, you know, they can hang out here. I don't want to bother them, and I don't want anything to do with them.
I also don't want to bother them. Like, I want them to be, like, free to do their thing. As long as I'm free to do my thing.
Just don't invite me to, like, a ghost hunt. Cause
that's the thing.
I don't want to offend any ghosties.
That's the thing. I would never personally go looking for a ghost. Like, I think
what if they don't want
that's...
to be found?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's stupid, and it's, like, kind of disrespectful. Like, you wouldn't be like, oh, I heard that this person lives here. Like, let's go try and break in their house at night and find them.
Let's go find Kara. I don't want to be found.
Yeah. So I wouldn't, but I'm saying, like, if I was somewhere and then, like, I happened to see a ghost that was just there and I was also just there, like,
of course,
that
you
would
were
be
passing.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, you weren't hunting them down. You were coexisting.
Yeah, and they're not hunting me down. We're just all here somehow.
I am on the same page as you with this.
So, like, if I stayed at La Quinta, I wouldn't, like, go looking for any ghosts, but I would, like, be like, okay, like, people said they've seen them here. So if I see one, that's why.
I will say I am willing to go on a ghost tour.
Yeah, because that's more like history, and it feels like it's honoring them, not like
I think it's
them.
cheesy, but I would definitely do a ghost tour.
Me too. We should do one together. I bet there's.
Let's do one when it's safe again.
Oh, let's do it when we're safe again. New song, new single.
Road trip. Okay, so I thought it was interesting how the men were like, he has a great genuine connection with Tayshia. He's definitely coming back. The second I saw that, I thought,
you're like, he's leaving.
He's gone. And we got the promo where he says he's falling in love with her. And when I saw that, I instantly was like, this is not going to go well.
Yeah, that was a mistake. So basically, like, they do this ghosty thing. And, like, they kind of have fun. But it's fun. But it's definitely like a friend vibe or a brother vibe.
It was a huge friend vibe. Nothing but a friend vibe.
And then at the night portion, Easy says he's falling in love with Tayshia, and as soon as he says
her face fell.
She was like, "Oh no,
oh no!"
And so,
but not annoyed. She was just like, "How am I gonna?"
Yeah, which I think that's why
how am I gonna maneuver this?
I think that's why she had him on the one-on-one, because she was like, "I need to. I'm pretty sure that I'm not into him, so I just need to make sure." And like that was like probably the worst thing that he could do was say how into her he was. And so she says she can't give him the rose because she doesn't know if she can get there. And
I think that's 100% fair. And I think you're right about the why behind the one-on-one. And I think Tayshia handled this the best way possible, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like in a way, at least he got his chance instead of just randomly going home after the group date or like after the cocktail party.
Yeah, I think they'll be friends, eventually.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely got a huge friend vibe. They looked like they had a lot of fun.
But when he said he was falling in love with her, I'm like, no, you're not. You guys have like the least connection of anyone.
I wanted to know, like, what is Easy's standard for falling in love?
Exactly.
That was what I wanted to know. I wanted to hear the why. I wanted the dissertation on why he was falling in love.
I definitely
which obviously we don't have time for.
Yeah, I definitely didn't believe him. So.
Yeah, part of me was like, I mean, Tayshia is the total package, but part of me is like, how much is her physical beauty playing into this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like infatuation. Yep. Infatuation is what I interpreted it as.
Agree.
But she is the total package. But he went home. The guys were seemingly surprised. So maybe there's just something we didn't see. Maybe part of it's the editing of the show, because I know with all the controversy with his sexual assault allegations, maybe we missed some moments between them. But he's gone, so I'm not going to worry about him anymore. He's going to be fine. So then cut back to we're done talking about this date, right? We're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so JoJo arrives, sits the guys down. This is the moment that I thought was a great JoJo moment. So Noah is like checking his hair. She calls him out and says, "Are you checking your hair?" And he said, "I don't know. Does it look okay?" And she says, "I don't know." Which means it looks bad.
That was really funny.
Did you see what his hair was doing? He had like 12 or 13 hairs that were like pressed to his forehead.
I think he just needs a bit of a restyle in general.
Just a zhuzh.
Like he keeps wearing the all black suits with like the open collars, the wide collars.
Yeah,
that's just
like
not
almost good, but not there.
Yeah, it's like it is like a 25-year-old trying to dress classy. That's what it's like, because that's what it is.
Yeah, he just needs someone to just give him a little guidance.
And just Bennett thinks that he is that person.
Wow, great segue. So,
thank you.
JoJo says that before the cocktail party, I thought she was going to say there wasn't going to be a cocktail party and Tayshia had already had her mind made up.
Right, but what we get is so much better.
So much better. She says there's going to be a cocktail party. It's just going to be shorter because Tayshia has to handle this monkey business with Noah and Bennett. And Bennett goes into this thing of like, I'm confused about why this is even happening. I'm like, cue the storyline where he's in school and the teacher calls him out and he's like, I don't do anything. I am flabbergasted. And he just keeps digging himself in the hole. So
I mean, to be fair, Noah said stuff to Tayshia that was definitely wrong and lies.
Pot stirring. But he didn't do individual jabs except for the privilege thing.
Yeah, which I feel like he was doing that
he was
because
kind of set up for.
Yeah, I feel like he was doing that because he felt like he had to defend himself.
Yeah.
And
yes.
But at the same time, if I was Tayshia, I'd be like, I don't care. Like, I literally just don't care.
She doesn't care. Though.
I guess that's why she's trying to deal with it. But every
time there was a. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. You say what you were going to say.
Well, every time there's been a jab and they've cut to Tayshia, she's literally been like,
she's like, I'm bored.
Yeah. Or like, this is childlike.
I'm a big fan of the pre-cocktail party 2-on-1 scenario because it's like
more of these.
You're not wasting a full date on them.
Expedited.
Yeah, you're just knocking it out. I think Peter did this with McKenna and someone else.
He did it a couple of times. He did it
with Tammy.
He did it with McKenna and Tammy, and then he did it with Alea and
who's the girl that hated Alea? Sydney?
Well, she said she didn't know her. She said she didn't know her.
Victoria P.
Was it P? Okay.
Yeah. That was so weird.
That was wild. He had a mess.
Yeah, that was a disaster.
But that was wild. That happened at least twice on that season. But yeah, I do like this. You're right. That happened on Peter's season, this expedited 2-on-1 situation. And it happened here. We want to keep seeing this. Don't spend a whole date on a 2-on-1. Just spend a couple hours max. But before the date, or not the date, before the discussion, before Tayshia arrives, Bennett does this ultra condescending moment. Like, I've never seen anything more condescending. Like, this is not the first time he's given a gift like this. That's my opinion.
What did he call it? I think he called it a friendship gift.
A friendship gift.
He definitely...
And the thing is, he started on a good note with the bandana. Like, that was fine. Like, they connected on, like, cowboys or something.
Wait, I just want to say something. Bennett speaks like he's narrating his own life. As if he's like...
Of course.
He's, like, reading it from a book. Like... That's what it sounds like.
He is writing. He's been writing his own memoirs with the expectation of publishing.
Writes pages and pages in a leather-bound journal, and then he memorizes them to save them later, like in his conversation. Of course.
What I also want to know is when I saw the gift come out, you know what I had a flashback of is when Toby is leaving the office and Michael has a gift for Toby. I forgot what it was, but it was like a rock
with a Post-it note on it, right?
That says like,
I hate you or something.
I hate you or something like that. Or it says like, go bleep yourself or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but
I'm gonna look it up right now.
When I saw that gift box, I literally was like, Michael Scott.
Wait, I'm looking at what it says.
Okay. Cut me off whenever you find it.
It is a rock with a Post-it note with a rubber band around the Post-it note, and the Post-it note says, "Suck on this."
Suck on this. That's what it is. Yeah, I literally thought that's what it was going to be. And so he gives him...
No, Bennett's too sophisticated for that.
His has layers to it. He does the bandana. I didn't catch everything.
Okay, so he gives him a red bandana, which signifies their first conversation. Socks. And he says, because they talked about cowboys or something, and then
they connected on that.
He picked a color red because he doesn't want there to be any bad blood between them.
Okay.
Cue Bad Blood by Taylor Swift.
Bad blood. Hey, we got problems, and I don't think we can solve. Think we can solve them.
That was good. Taylor, is that you?
The old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Okay, so
gasp.
So then he gives the mustache socks next.
Yes.
So we find out that these socks have been pre-worn. These are secondhand socks.
But he washed them.
But here's the thing. I understand they were washed. I'm not against secondhand gifts, but
not socks.
Socks? Secondhand socks?
I think it's fine.
I mean, they look like they were in good condition.
I think Bennett is possibly the cleanest person in the entire world.
Sure. He definitely doesn't detox.
And
like
Noah
those like seaweed
grimy.
wraps. Noah can use some exfoliation. I'll tell you that.
I think that Noah has combination skin.
I can relate.
Yeah, I can too. I'm not saying that I don't. I'm just saying I think that he does.
It's a special environmental balance you have to create for that type. And it fluctuates, and you have to think on your feet. And he's not learned that.
Yeah, he could take some advice from Bennett about skincare products.
Some
maybe.
face masks. He should have given him a face mask, and he should have been like,
"We should do these
together."
Yes.
Jeez Louise, take a hint. But then he does a jab about the mustache because he says the only place you should be wearing a mustache is on your feet.
I think that could have been funny if it wasn't.
The delivery was not good.
Yeah,
the delivery was bad.
Evil. It was evil.
Yeah, menacing.
Yeah, menacing.
That's when I realized this isn't a friendship gift anymore.
That's when I realized.
Was the next gift the book or no?
Yeah, the emotional intelligence book.
Oh my gosh. I had flashbacks to Ari's season where Taylor Nolan's talking about emotional intelligence the entire time. Which I like her now, but then it was like...
It was too much. It was like, you're probably on the wrong show if this is what you're going to do.
If you're worried about emotional intelligence.
Also, like, if you care about emotional intelligence, like, I feel like the first rule of emotional intelligence is...
Don't give this gift.
Don't be the person who thinks they're the most emotionally intelligent. That's not emotional intelligence.
Yeah. It's like saying you're humble or saying... Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's like saying you're humble. It's like, yeah, I'm so humble. It's like, yeah, I'm so emotionally intelligent. Okay, so he says that... So, like, he gives the emotional intelligence book, and he says that there's 4 categories. Self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. And then we see him say the line of, you are deficient in 3 of the 4. Which...
Okay, Dr. Bennett.
Which I'm like, how do you have the permission or knowledge?
I want to see a certificate or a license or something that makes you qualified to
I guess if you went to Harvard, you just think that you can tell everyone everything about anything that you feel that you understand.
He's that person who says, actually, insert statement.
Yeah, that I like.
Which we all do that from time to time, but he's that person who's like, that's a consistent.
I honestly can't take that. Like, that's just, I shut down and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah. I'm done with that.
Or I zone out.
Which one does he says that he thinks Noah is good at self-management.
He's good at the self-management.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. I honestly don't care. I was just waiting for Tayshia to walk in, which I guess they wrap up the gift giving process.
Okay. What I'm going to say, though, is one thing that Bennett says to Noah, which it's totally coming from the wrong place, but he says that Noah spends a lot of time talking about other people instead of just focusing on himself and Tayshia. I agree with that. Although Bennett is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. Like, none of this really needs to happen, and I think that it is a sign of emotional maturity when you, like, you're not bothered by whatever else is going on and you're just focusing on your relationship. So I did.
You know what would have been
that.
A killer move from Noah on this is him just saying, like, you're right, but I also noticed that we have that in common and maybe we can work on that together.
Yeah. If only the maturity was there.
I've done that to someone who's called me out on something that they do too, and I was like, we're both bad at that.
That's awesome. And then at the end of his whole speech, Bennett says that he's just trying to love Noah up.
Thank you for mentioning that. I think I like blacked out. I was like, I need this to be over. I need Tayshia to squash this.
That was so funny, though.
Did they wrap it up? They did wrap it up. Like, it was back in the box before she came in.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And
she asked about it, right?
And they exchanged some words. And after Bennett said the thing to Noah about loving him up, Noah said something that made it clear that he was not willing to be loved up by Bennett. And then Bennett said...
I missed this. I was so zoned out because I was so over it.
Lasered in. I'm
glad you were. I appreciate your efforts here.
Bennett says, like, right before Tayshia comes in, he says... I can't even... This is, like, unreal. He says, "This, my friend, is where we start to folly."
Yes!
And then he says, "I am fully aware of everything I am." What?
Okay.
That's just not true. And if you say that, then you're not fully aware.
Wow.
But the reality of this whole thing is, even though Noah didn't really do much, he played it better than Bennett did.
He really did. It's like he didn't have a great hand of cards to start with, but he did the best he could with the cards he was dealt. I don't know why Bennett keeps digging himself into this hole, and he was on such a high with the audience, and I'm curious as to how this is going to play out for him with the audience as time progresses.
The thing about the reasons I liked Bennett were never because I thought he was going to win or go far it doesn't really change the stuff that we love about Bennett, which is literally that he's a character and that he has. But
I want the Bennett that does face masks with DeMar by the pool. I don't want the one who calls people out, and it's the fact that he's not owning up to it. He's trying to think. He makes it seem like we're fooled, and I'm not fooled by it.
Well, I think some of it could be his edit. Like, I know he said all the stuff he said, but like, he truly hasn't really. He's done some snide comments to Noah, but it's not like they're in a huge feud. Like,
no,
it all started when Noah literally made up these lies and told Tayshia them.
That's true. That was a bad.
And then after that, Bennett was like, "This is dumb, and I'm gonna try and help you, I guess, because I'm older and wiser." And then that's where Bennett got off track. But like, I think it started with Noah, and I know it also definitely sucks. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically at the same level for me at this point. I mean,
except Bennett is someone that I would want to be friends with still.
Sure. I'm not impressed by the actions this episode. I'll leave it at that. Not impressed.
And so then, like, basically the episode ends with Tayshia coming in. They're, like, all exchanging words, and she asks why she has to deal with this little boy drama, or however she puts it. And the episode ends with her eyeing the present on the coffee table, and a slow zoom.
I love that happened.
And then she's
about to lose her poop. on
I
them.
can't wait for them to open
She's
it.
going to put them in their place.
Who do you think's going to go
She's
home?
not
I
here
mean,
for this.
I definitely think
Bennett's
it's Bennett.
definitely going home. For sure.
But then, like,
because
so
she has a better connection with Noah.
But in the promo, she says, like, that doesn't feel right.
Maybe they both go home and she doesn't feel right about it.
Yeah, maybe.
But she clearly has a better connection with Noah. She's not into, like, she likes Bennett, but she's not into him. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, she doesn't vibe him.
Yep, agreed.
She definitely cringes at his stuff. Like the blindfold kiss, gotta go. Gotta go.
Yeah, it didn't work for me the first time, and it definitely didn't work the second time.
Yeah. Well, looking into the next weeks coming ahead, you know, we can't always trust promos. They definitely want to get us riled up as much as possible. But it looks like that things with Zac C take a turn for the worse.
But do you think that they're actually going to, or do you think that they'll get resolved, like, and he'll still be in play?
I think he'll still be in play, but I don't know if he's her final pick.
Yeah, it might just be too risky for her.
He's going to hometowns at least, or whatever hometowns is going to look like this season.
I think so too.
But so we also have, what else happened in the promo that we need to note?
Brendan said that he is scared of the proposal time frame.
Yes.
Which I understand, because he's been married before. So, like, not that you wouldn't be wary of that, but, like, especially if you're doing it a second time.
Yeah, it's playing into my theory that I have, which I still am holding on to at this time.
And then Riley also says that he asks, is today the day I let myself go? Whatever that means.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was kind of a cryptic promo. But I'm excited for next week.
It definitely got me intrigued.
I hope we get more JoJo next week.
Me too. I think we will, based on my comments from earlier.
I won't be disappointed if Chris Harrison's back, but I want more JoJo.
Agree.
More JoJo, please. Sorry, I took her name. So let's move into our next segment. This episode's Rosebud, where we award the contestant, cast member, producer, whoever on the show, with our Rosebud of the week. Beth, do you have your Rosebud yet?
I don't.
Jeez, I'm having a hard time this week too. I'm gonna spit one out.
Okay, do it.
Give my Rosebud of the week to the art lady from the art date.
Oh, dang, that's who I was thinking of.
Oh, no. We can share it.
No. I feel like we should have different ones.
I don't know who she is, but she seems like a really nice lady, and she complimented all the, what?
No, keep going. Sorry.
She complimented all the men's art, and she didn't have to do that. She could have been totally savage and been like, this sucks.
Yeah, she was very nurturing.
Very supportive. Nurturing. Supportive. We need more of that in 2020.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So my Rosebud goes to her.
Mine is the photographer. How did he almost
forgot about him? That feels like yesterday now.
How could he obviously deserves
Dang it,
a Rosebud.
yours is better.
I just remembered,
you know what?
So
they're both great Rosebuds.
Yep.
We need to find them both on social media and see if we can share them on our stories or something.
Maybe they'll come on our podcast.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, please. So wow, great Rosebuds. So that was really fast. So now let's go into
I was trying to be on top of it.
One of our final segments called Will You Accept This Recommendation? Where Beth and I give you our recommendations for the week, top quality, top shelf for
top shelf.
Beth, what is your recommendation?
Okay, well, I actually have mine ahead of time this week, which normally I don't, but I have to remember the exact name of what I'm recommending, so I'm just looking it up really quick to make sure that I'm right, because I would hate to say the wrong thing. But my recommendation is a brand of drugstore fake nails that you like glue on.
Oh, this is very on brand for you.
Yes. If you know me, then you know that I like really like having my nails done. I feel like I usually have them painted, right? Or like have fake nails.
They always look nice.
Thank you. And like recently I haven't been wanting to spend the cash on fake nails from the salon. So I've been trying out like different fake nails from the drugstore or like Target or something. And I tried the best nails I've ever tried. The brand is Clutch Nails.
Oh my gosh, what a name.
I know. And I put them on over 2 weeks ago, and not a single one of them has fallen off. Like, not even close to falling off. And if you have ever tried drugstore nails
Is that
before,
a good time window?
Yes, because if you've ever tried drugstore nails, you know that like at least one falls off within a couple of days and you can like re-glue them on, but it's just not the same. These like literally feel like I got them done at the salon. You can see them, Kara.
They look nice.
They're
I commend you on being able to do that.
What do you mean?
I'm naturally a picker. Like I pick things.
That's why it's good for me, because I chew my nails and my cuticles, but if I have these, then I don't. So, and I like having like long fingernails because I don't know. I feel like it's just easier to maneuver, and I like to tap them like that.
I just feel like for some reason fingernails and librarianship, I just feel like they just don't go. But maybe I'm wrong.
If I was a librarian,
sure there's some fabulous.
I would be bougie.
Would you have like the long, like awesome themed nails? I'm sure there's some librarians out there that are like, they love acrylic moments. So my recommendation this week is, speaking of creating things, everyone needs to create something. At the beginning of quarantine, I think I was on the opposite end of everyone else. Like I was so shell-shocked at the beginning of quarantine. I was at my low. I was not feeling inspired. I was not creating sourdough. I just wasn't inspired. And now maybe it's because we moved to a house and I have more space and I have more like, I don't know. We have an outdoor space, which we didn't have before. I'm feeling more inspired and creating things. And we made like a little Lego village for our Christmas decor. I'm working on a disco ball gingerbread house.
Ooh.
Cam and I recorded a fun, silly song for my work. So the creative juices are flowing, and it's the holiday season, and holiday season crafts are so sweet and cute. So make yourself a little holiday craft, spread some cheer with some creativity. That's my recommendation.
That's a great recommendation.
Yeah. So, well, with that being said, this is our closing. Before we will go, Beth and I want to share that we will be posting our giveaway tomorrow on Instagram.
Ooh.
Make sure you're following us on Instagram.
It's going to be
Cabbage
a good
Batch Pod. What?
I was just going to say, it's going to be a good giveaway. There's going to be
a good giveaway. It's, I think this could appeal to any of our listeners, really. And so make sure you're following us on Instagram to make sure you don't miss that. And plus, like, we don't have a whole lot of followers right now, so your odds
they're good
winning are good, and it's a good prize. Good prizes, plural.
Yeah, we should say like what's going to be in it.
Should we say? Do you want to say?
Why not?
Sure. So we're going to have a $20 Amazon gift card. And then we wanted to support some small businesses. So we got a couple things from Etsy, what is it? Here for the Right Reasons coffee mug, and a Can I Steal You for a Second sweatshirt.
And both are super cute.
Maybe one day Beth and I will create our own merch. Who knows? I'm down
not
to
gonna
have
roll it out.
It's all about the fern mug.
I just want a sweatsuit.
That's too obscure of a reference.
I just want a sweatsuit. That's all I want.
A sweatsuit. That's a good one. But with that being said, make sure you don't miss that giveaway post tomorrow. Details are coming, and we'll make sure we have. We'll try to get it to you before the Christmas rush, the Christmas postage rush. And make sure you rate us 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe so you don't miss any episode notifications, so you don't miss a week of us. And anything else, Beth?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, just follow us and like all our stuff and support us. Because
sure, we need support in 2020, and we will support you with content.
We will support you in return.
Yes. Well, that's all for this week, guys. We really appreciate you guys listening, and we'll see you, or we'll talk to you next week after next week's episode.
Yes, catch you next week. Have a good week, everyone.
Catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.